Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi, The Division 2. YouTube, I'm doing the rescue mission for this time period that's open. It's the last one before I open the main boss. And I'm running on Heroic. I did the first parts of this, to get to the last part. I did them all on easy because I'm just trying to get through to this content. I don't think you really want to see control points on Heroic. I've done that before. I don't think you want me to do bounties on Heroic. You've seen that before, but you want me to do this mission. I recently did this mission in a group and I ran it all backwards, and it was old habits die hard. So when I'm coming into this, I'm here with my Vile Jammer build, and I'm going to go through here in a very methodical manner. And the name of this is Patience, because you will see I exhibit a whole bunch of patience. But I have family in town, YouTube. So there's a certain point where that goes out the window, and with the kind of results that happen. Family's really important. And you'll never know when you need them. And you would hope that those links between family members always stay strong, but they don't always do that. And what I found in my life, I think if you heard my story before, my father passed away when I was 18. So that changed my family dynamic immediately from that point on. And what I noticed when my father passed away, there were certain relationships that I just didn't have anymore, because the link that was keeping those relationships together was that my father was the one that was keeping the links. I was very close to my grandmother. She had a cottage in a place, and I would go visit her in the summers. And when I was in the Coast Guard, eventually when I got back from being stationed in New York a couple times, I got stationed in Michigan, and I lived with her a while. She was, I don't know at that point, I'm going to say she was in her 80s. And I really loved her, and she was my dad's mom, and I'd spent summers there, so that was really well. It was really good. But what I noticed is some relationships don't survive the death of a parent. The parent's what keeps people together. When my mom passed away, maybe about 10 years ago, maybe a little less, that was the final splintering, because my mom had really held us together. So I was sad to lose those relationships, and those are my personal connections, right? That was my connection with my mom, my connection with my dad. As my kids have grown up, right, and I've told you this before, they have their own lives. So our relationships are probably the reverse. From their perspective, they're like, I know how to live my life, Dad. And, I don't care what you think. And so as a parent, you have to learn to give way to your children. So during holidays, I'm a lot more subdued. It's less about me and more about them, which is how I think it should be. And as I've lost family members, I've gained family members. And so that's an interesting dynamic. So that's a chance for that to all start again and new. So I don't have, there's Caesar, hi family member. That's a way for these relationships to renew and change and do some wonderful things. So that's a balance between the net loss or the net gain in family members and what those new relationships are. It's a chance each time for you to have a new beginning. Sometimes people that you have an existing relationship won't let you be a new person. They're just always going to pigeonhole you in the way you are. And I think I've told you that before. When I had my kids, I was in the military, and I got out of the military, but I was still projecting this sense of what a father should be and what a man should be, or whatever. I don't know what it is, but whatever I thought it was at the time. And so that's ingrained in them. So when they see their dad, when they see me, they see that. They don't see who I am. I didn't do videos. I didn't do thumbnails for videos, and they didn't know how much joy I had in that. They probably listen to this stuff and they're like, oh God, you're telling the why speech again, Dad? Or whatever we discussed. So an overarching theme in my life is I've had to develop patience. And when you're playing legendaries in the Division 2, you need to have patience. When you're playing tough content in any single game, you have to use patience. Now, some games like World of Warcraft, when you're in a raid, they will put a timer on there. So they put a mechanic, so they just induce pressure. So it's not hard enough already that you got to get out of the goo. And in this stage, you got to go over here. And the next stage, you got to go over here. On top of it, you got to do it in a certain amount of time, which really ratchets up the pressure. Sorry, YouTube. This is normally when I might say, can you like, subscribe, share, unsubscribe, resubscribe, hit the notifications. I really appreciate all the subs. I need your help to get to 500 to hopefully monetize the channel. It's kind of, I look at us as a team. If I get to 500 and I can start affording to buy laptops, I would buy a laptop, use it for a month, and then raffle it off to the people that subscribe. And the idea with that is I'm going to give a real, maybe I buy an iPad and show you how to do LumaFusion or what I think of LumaFusion, then I raffle that off. But the point is, using something for a month and relying on it is different than a 3-day trial with it where I'm saying, well, it has 3 ports, 3 USB Gen 3.2 ports, and 1 USB 2.0. And I don't think there's enough ports. Well, I don't use the computers like that. I have a hub for everything, so I can just, and I've mentioned this in other videos a long time ago about your builds. I make a chassis, and then I put things on the chassis. So my setup includes a keyboard that I never change, a mouse I never change, a monitor I never change, and a USB-C hub that I never change. And I just plug an iPad into that, or a laptop into that, or my new secret laptop that I'm supposed to give a video about. So all those things go into this chassis. So part of the review is my rig consists of parts that have nothing to do with the computer. And in old days, when you only had desktops, you know, you talk about your monitor. I have an Acer 15-inch VGA monitor without a V-Sync, you know, whatever it was. And so when you get into laptops, you think about that screen, but one of the things for sure that you run into with laptops, newer laptops that have high resolution, the screen then has to sometimes be scaled to read it. As you get older, YouTube, I hate to tell you this, spoiler alert, your eyes kind of get shot. So that's the stuff about the channel. Still trying to work on the comments. The plan is every day, as soon as it goes out, I jump on, I undisable the comments, open up for comments, and I check back every few minutes until it sticks. I apologize. There's other YouTubers that have this same problem. I haven't really seen any result. Because I'm mixing this in with a day job, I don't have time. Really, I got to do the content. I got to play a game, make a story about the game. I don't write scripts, but I get an idea of what I'm going to say, and then I say it. So enough BSing. Let me get back to the game. So I'm on Heroic. And what you've seen for the last, this isn't exciting, but I'm using my patience. I have a turret set up in a remote area. I am pulsing or aggro, I'm aggravating the enemy so that they will come run into the turret and running into the pulse. And I'm just mowing them down. This puts me out of harm's way. And no matter what the content, especially on these, either the kill the named target or rescue. On these missions especially, they've designed them where this works like a charm. And so, why don't I do a lot of build videos? Because this build I'm doing right now, in general, when you play it like this, it's unstoppable. This is called foreshadowing, YouTube. So, patience. You know, they say patience is a virtue. I never was a big fan of patience. Why do I have to wait? Sometimes these are artificial stopgates. In games, for sure, right? They make you have to get to a certain level before you can get things. Sometimes they have end game content that you got to wait to get to. In Diablo 4, you could go to the capstone whenever, and maybe someone could help you through it. And now they've made it so you can't do that. Me and a fellow YouTuber did that. I was at level 62, so then I had to grind. I'm still only level 70, and the mobs in the tier 4 are level 75. That's Caesar. Caesar, you're okay. He's whining because Roxy has a bone and he doesn't have it. I have several animals in the house, and that's what you're hearing. So you can still see I'm still basically doing this indirect fire. That's one of the great things about this build. In other games, I'm trying to do that build. If I can have some type of indirect kind of fire, if I can have traps. You see me when I play SWOTAR that I have a cloaking ability, and that gets me in and out of the game. So I'm not spending a lot of time leveling, beating up, killing things on the way in and killing things on the way out. I just go directly to the boss, kill it, and get out. The problem in some games is that you then are low on levels, so you're starting to find higher and higher stuff with your lower and lower character. And eventually you have to go back out and just kill everything till you level up again. And that's where you might use like an XP pot or some type of XP multiplier to help get your level back up. So this is basically the CDC of the Division 2 world, and I'm in there. And as I told you before, you're playing it kind of backwards. So you have to wrap your mind around that. So since I've done it once, I have a plan that I'm attacking it, and that's this indirect way of doing it. I'm looking at the iPad. So basically what I do is I play this on a PC laptop, and then I transfer it onto a USB-C hard drive, and then I put it into my iPad Pro, which has a USB-C port, and transfer the video. Then I watch the video on the iPad, and then I record this with an iPhone. I have like an iPhone 13 mini, and that camera is like a 1080p camera, the front-facing camera. Why do I do it like this? Well, eventually maybe I would get like a HDR camera and different mics and all that other stuff. This is just a prop, by the way, so I just have that on so I look like a cool YouTuber, even though I'm an old geezer. Hey, Caesar. So eventually I might change that, but one of the messages I get to you can do this right away. You just got to look in the camera more. Don't look down here. Don't look at yourself. Hey, Ronan. You look in the camera more, and you have something to say. And usually what you should talk about is some type of story. Yes, you can go over the gameplay, but that gets very boring very fast. A lot of times, it's like your baby's pictures are really beautiful to you, not to everyone else. So I'm getting near the end where the area where I'm going to fight the boss. Now, I didn't pay attention because I haven't played this a lot, so I don't know where the boss is going to spawn. I would ideally like to fight down here because this is the best place to do it. So YouTube, Ronan Kazi makes mistakes a lot, and this is one of those times that he makes a mistake. Should I talk in a third person? Ricky Henderson thinks that Ricky Henderson is one of the best baseball players. Maybe I should. So what you're now going to see is a series of mistakes. It defeats the purpose, and there's the AC. So this has just been fantastic for obnoxious audio. Sorry, YouTube. I thought we were going to make it. So if you're going to take all that time to do patience, why are you rushing at this last point? And what I find out is they're spawning from everywhere around me. I just did the worst thing possible. It's a waste of time to do all that patience and then blow it at the end, because I was supposed to go get lunch with the family. Damn you, family. No, I love them. Family's wonderful. But YouTube, I hardly knew ye. This is Ronan Kazi, regrettably getting smoked.